Hey peeps, we are back. Finally, it is the last part of the Real Housewives of New Jersey, Season 13, Episode 19, Reunion. Oh my gosh. Hey, before we get into the video, please do me the honors of subscribing to my channel, hitting the notification bell so you can always be notified when I post new content, hitting the thumbs up because that does wonders for my channel, and share. Thanks. You guys, this has just been too much. I was exhausted at the end of this reunion. It was the childhood antics for me. It was the let's all on this side of the couch gang up on this side of the couch. It was the all let me over talk you, not let anyone get out a complete sentence. It was the host just giving up. It was too daggone much. Anyway, listen, Bo Dietl is over it.
All of a sudden, this little punk Joe Gorga comes out, and he has something to say to me that I lied about. I did investigations on the cast members again. I'm telling you right now, Joe, I saw you in Avra. I told you and your wife I did not do that. As far as me doing any other personal investigations for Lou other than the cast members, that's none of your business, you little punk. And I tell you what, if you call me a liar, and you want to have a problem with me, I don't think you want me after you. Because I tell you right now, Joe, I'll do the investigation on you for free by me. I don't need Lou to pay for it.
Wow.
You better know who you're talking to. I'm not one of those little punks that you're running around. You might go in the gym there, watch your little muscles, but muscles doesn't give somebody balls, okay? So you want to play with me? I tell you what, why don't you ask some of your friends about me? I'm the wrong guy you mess with, okay? And let's leave that at that.
Honey, now listen. I cut out some of Bo Dietl's conversation. He used a derogatory term for little people, and I don't appreciate it. I know he's of a particular age, but even as a child growing up, I knew that you could not use that word for little people. I mean, good gracious. Cut the crap, Bo Dietl. Now listen, Bo Dietl said he's from the old school. Joe is about to F around and find out. I'm trying to watch my mouth. Anyway. It sounds to me that Bo Dietl is ready to give Joe exactly what he's asking for, and I'm here for it. Anyway, listen, I don't know how true this is, but I guess Joe went out and made some kind of post talking about women are like pit bulls. They'll break your balls and blow up your phone, text messages all day long until these guys show up. Can't deny she's got it done. At Melissa Gorga. This company called Easy Outdoor Kitchens, and they said, probably time for you to call us back and pay your past due $16,000 bill from 5 years ago for your outdoor kitchen. Honey, what?
Son works too much. He works too much. Where's Joey? Where's Joey? He spends no time with you. He's working. We have bills to pay, and we pay our bills.
This you? This you? This you? This you? This you?
Now, honey, I don't know what went down. I don't know if Joe and Melissa owe Easy Kitchen money or not. Is it possible that these Easy Kitchen people are just Team Teresa and out here slandering Joe and Melissa? Is it possible that they are a very small business and they can't afford to go after them legally? I have no idea. But one thing I can say for sure is if they don't have the receipts to prove that Joe and Melissa owe them this $16,000, they better have enough money now to hire a legal team, because it's absolutely possible for Joe and Melissa to go after them for slander or defamation, something. I'm just saying, Easy Kitchen people, please have your receipts. Please have your documents. And also explain to us why you waited 5 years. So notice that after the reunion, little Frankie, he has unfollowed Joe Gorga. He's following Louie, though. That says that he is not messing with the Gorgas. So after the reunion, Jennifer and Teresa unfollowed Margaret. Listen, I wish they would unfollow everybody. I wish all of them would just unfollow everyone. Actually, just all of you get off social media. I'm sick of it. Bravo, people. After this reunion, I'm sorry, but if you would be so kind as to get rid of Teresa and Melissa, I would appreciate it. I would like to remove Melissa, Teresa, Joe, Louie, Frank, John, and Rachel Fuda. Get the hell off this program. I'm just saying. I'm passionate. I'm just saying. Listen, peeps, I may change my mind tomorrow, but listen, one thing I will absolutely not change my mind about is one of these sister-in-laws have to go. One of you have to go. And at this point, I don't care which one. Just one of you exit to the left. And the Fudas, please leave this show. I would also like to point out all of the talk going on about Frank and little Frankie and working with Louie. It seems that after little Frankie stopped working for Louie, him and Louie still hung out. There's even pictures on Louie's Instagram showing them all together with Paulie. I don't think that there is a real problem. When they asked Frank about it when he came out, Frank was dancing a jig. He didn't want to say anything. Joe and Melissa was, let Frank tell it. What else do you know about it? Tell him everything about it, Frank. And Frank says, oh, I'm not going to bring it up unless somebody else does. Dolores shut it down. Now, I don't know why Dolores was so forceful in shutting this down. She says because she didn't want anybody talking about her son, and I understand. I really do. But she was very forceful about it. I don't know if she was afraid that maybe Bo Dietl was about to get in her business. I don't know. Or if maybe it's true that there's nothing going on. We already seen last week that little Frankie said that nothing happened between him and Louie. That Louie gave him a job. He was very happy working there. And then he got a better job and moved on. It seems that there's nothing to see here, folks. I don't know. Before we get too deep in the reunion, did anybody see on Shannon Bedore's Instagram? She posted a picture that the twins have graduated, and it was a picture of her and the twins and David, because you know David Bedore is getting a divorce. He has filed for divorce a second time, and it seems that the current wife is unhappy with her settlement offer, allegedly. And she's alleging that David is physically abusive to her, allegedly. In my opinion, I think that she may have embellished that he's abusive. This woman has gold digger all over her, in my opinion. That is just my opinion. I am sorry. We are all entitled to one. Get on down in the comments. If you disagree, let me have it in a respectful way. Anyway, there was also pictures recently on her Instagram of Shannon down at the Quiet Lady. You know, Shannon Bedore loves the Quiet Lady. And who walks into the Quiet Lady? David Bedore. Okay, I don't know what's happening. I'm not saying there is anything happening, but okay, it's cute. Anyway, on to this reunion. The reunion picks up right where it left off, honey. We've got all these grown preschoolers. They are childish as hell. They start out by asking Louie about these pajamas. Listen, I think that Louie is an outright absolute liar. He says that he doesn't sleep in No-No's pajamas. So why did you say that? He said that it came out wrong. That's not what he meant. No, you clearly said that you sleep in No-No's pajamas. It just made no sense. Then he continued to go on and say some cockamamie story about Teresa had bags of clothes that No-No never got, and he wore a pair of No-No's sweats. That was endearing to Teresa and the girls. Boy, listen, Teresa and the girls don't need you running around in No-No sweatpants. Something is not right about Louie. Louie comes off to me as a con artist, and he also comes off to me as somebody who is absolutely manipulative, and he's gaslighting the shit out of Teresa. Girl, you in danger. You and the girls, be careful with Louie. That's just my opinion. I have no proof of this. I mean, the looks on everyone's face when he's talking about No-No's sweatpants and pajamas, it's just odd. I mean, Louie is getting odder and odder by each episode. Joe says all he wanted was a brother-in-law and for their sister to be family. Joe says that Teresa was so humble when she got out of jail and that they called each other every day. Teresa screams that he was only calling her because they were filming. So Teresa and Melissa get into this back and forth argument. They are yelling over each other. Teresa starts saying that she is over Joe and Melissa. They have drugged her for the last 10 years. And she's still bringing up the fact that Melissa joined this show behind her back. And here's the thing. We don't care. Yes. Yes, she did it behind your back. Yes, she wanted to be on this show, in my opinion, because she was jealous that you were on this show, getting a little spotlight and a little shine, and her husband were absolutely not. So she went behind your back and she got on the show. That was over 10 years ago. Let it go. And she calls Melissa a gaslighting bitch. Now listen, both of you are really good at the gaslighting role. Both of you seem to be really good gaslighting queens. I'm just saying. Frank then says that he no longer lives at David's house. When Andy asked him if he was paying rent, he said that he took care of some things there, which tells me that this grown-ass man was not paying rent at David's house. He did say that him and Brittany have just closed on a house of their own. He hasn't told David yet. Well, I'm glad to see that you're doing something, Frank. Then they talk to Bill about the relationship, asking him if he feels guilty about spending all that time out in the pool house. And Bill says that his profession is not that great for family life. And, yes, Bill is a plastic surgeon. I'm sure at some point he is on call. But Bill owns his practice and he has a full staff and he makes his own schedule. I can understand getting home from work because I'm just a regular person. And after work, I want to be quiet too. You know what I mean? I just need a few minutes. I don't want the whole, what's for dinner? What are we going to do? Oh my gosh, I need laundry. I got to do this. Can you fold this? Can you do this? I don't want that. Just give me a minute to decompress. So I can get that. If you need to come home, go to the pool house, shower, change, sit down for 30 minutes, have yourself a little drink. Cool. I get it. You had a long day today. You performed surgeries. You've seen a whole bunch of patients. You need to decompress. Got it. But after that, take your ass in the house and be a family man. Okay? They can sit on this stage and pretend like they are happy, but you can look at her and Bill and you can tell that their marriage needs to be resuscitated. You can tell. Bill is halfway out of that house. I'm just saying. So then they ask Paul about marrying Dolores. He says Dolores doesn't want to get married. She turns around and she says, yes, I do. Or I do, or something. I'm paraphrasing. And he says, well, she's not in a rush. And so he's not in a rush. I said, what? Okay, so you went from I'm going to marry Dolores to I've already got a ring to we're not in a rush. And then he says that he is working through his divorce. Paulie, quit playing with us. You are not going to play with Dolores. I really do like Dolores. I think Dolores is ready for her happy ending. I'm just saying. Paulie did say that Dolores is the first woman that he has ever brought around his children since he's been separated for 14 years. And did anybody notice that look on Frank's face? I don't know. He looked sad. He really did. I think that Frank really, truly is in love with Dolores. And all these years, he just figured they would have this family dynamic, that he would be able to still be the man in her life and have a girlfriend on the side, like he tried to do in their marriage. Here comes John Fuda, bringing up his child's mother and Louie supposedly getting Bo Dietl to investigate her and bring her into this. And this is where I have to say, foul. Please stop the shit. He says, you've got to get a number to reach out to her and find out where she is. John Fuda, listen, okay, let me tell you something, peeps. I used to be known as an investigator in my group of friends, okay, back in the day when we had different boyfriends and they might have been doing something. I'm known to go on a few missions, switching up cars with a friend and wearing my camo and going out at night. You know what I mean? Spying on a man to find out what the hell is going down. Okay, I'm also known for getting on the old Google. Anyway, John Fuda, please cut the shit. Arrest records and things like that, it's all public information. You can get on the county clerk of court's website. All you need is the woman's name, and you can find out what prison she went to, what her number is, the address to the prison, and the charges that she's there for. You and your wife decided to come on a national syndicated worldwide program and talk about your son's mother. When you did that, people became interested. And that's when different bloggers and different journalists reached out to her. And not only that, who's to say that she didn't reach out to them when she saw you trying to drag the shit out of her on TV in front of her other prison friends? Okay, she wants to be a part of the discussion as well. Not only that, some of these outlets will possibly pay her for her story and put a little money on her commissary. Nobody is trying to find that woman except for bloggers and journalists. John Fuda trying to puff up and act like he about to do something. Boy, you will be winded by the time you get halfway across the damn room. And at the end of the episode, when Louie goes over there and tells Rachel that he thinks she's a great mom, but he was not investigating them, John Fuda trying to walk up on somebody. Boy, you better get the hell on. Please remove them from the show. I'm not a fan. I'm just saying. Louie straight up lied. He told those people that he did not hire Bo Dietl to investigate them. No, sir, you clearly did. When you were down at the prohibition party, face red as hell, screaming across the damn room, looking like the devil in that burgundy suit, talking about Bo Dietl's got a folder and got information on all of you. And then the next day, sober, still red, but sober, sat at your kitchen table and told them again that Bo Dietl had investigated them. Then here in front of Andy and in front of these upset people, you were on the stage talking about that was out of context. No, you are a liar and a manipulator, and you and Bo Dietl investigated some of them. Andy trying to get between all the screaming and shouting. Now he's screaming and shouting at the top of his lungs. Andy has to tell all of them to shut the hell up. Then he announces that there's some security dude downstairs looking for Teresa and Louie. And all of a sudden, here is Louie talking about Bo Dietl hired security for him and Teresa because somebody has threatened them. You know what? At this point, please just bring Bo Dietl on to the show. Let Bo Dietl sit out here on the stage and explain to us who he investigated, who he didn't investigate, and what his relationship is with Louie. This is getting to be ridiculous. Teresa says that somebody is harassing them, and it's somebody on the stage there that is supplying information to these people that are harassing them. Of course, Louie calls out Margaret. He says Margaret pays the bloggers and plants stories. We knew that, in my opinion, allegedly, that Marge is out here doing this, that. But at the same time, let's be honest, Teresa is out here planting stories and telling bloggers stuff too, because there is at least 2 pages that I know of, and you know that I'm not that social media savvy, but there's at least 2 pages that I know of that are completely dedicated to Teresa. And they bash everybody. It's Teresa for the win. And then there's a couple that I follow as well that is all about Melissa, and they will bash the hell out of Teresa all day long. So I think that all of these housewives have particular blogs that just reinforce that they are the best. They are the best, and these ladies are the worst. I think they're all doing it, in my opinion. Marge can keep on saying that Louie called her son's job. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. You holding up this little screenshot of Louie's phone number. No, ma'am. Louie is nuts, in my opinion, but I don't think that he's that crazy that he would call and harass your adult son using his own phone number. That just doesn't make sense. Frank believes that Louie has set up some kind of smear campaign for him and Joe. Oh, nobody cares. I'm sorry. Why would he waste his time smearing you, Frank? The truth about you is enough. I mean, what? And the fact that Danielle had to ask what a smear campaign was, I said, somebody get her a dictionary. We've got Danielle and Nate out here, and they never got back to ask Nate how he thought about the whole setup. Just ridiculous. Now, honey, when they went back over the pizza oven deal, now here I have to say that I do believe that Louie stole Joe's idea. But at the same time, Joe didn't put in any money. So it is what it is. I'm tired. I don't care about the pizza ovens. They go back and forth screaming and hollering at each other again. Melissa tells Teresa that she's embarrassing. Teresa tells Melissa that she's embarrassing. Andy says you're both embarrassing. Not only are they both embarrassing, they're childish as hell. They really are. It's really hard to watch. Really hard to watch. I was getting so upset. Then Andy asked Louie about the relationship between him and Dina's husband, and Louie just came right out and said that Joe is lying. And you know what? I believe that Joe is absolutely lying, because not only did Dina come out and say that there's no problem and no business between Louie and her husband, Dana's husband also came out and said there has not been a falling out between him and Louie regarding anything, including business. So I do think that Joe is lying. Then Joe screams out that Louie is a woman abuser. You know what, Joe? Please with this shit. Okay, we don't know for sure if Louie really does abuse women. There has been some women that have some claims, and I do think Teresa should take these seriously. Maybe you should have Dietl investigate Louie. I'm just saying, Teresa should watch out. But Joe should really shut the hell up, because we have seen Joe. We have seen Joe be abusive to his sister. We have seen Joe talk shit to Jennifer. We have seen Joe try to talk shit to Dolores. We know you, Joe Gorga, for your works, and you're quite abusive as well. So, that's my opinion. Maybe pots should not scream at kettles. One thing is for sure, Joe Gorga, you don't need any more lawsuits. You should pipe down before Louie sues you for defamation. And when they talk about if Joe and Melissa sent the feds, listen, I guess Frank was Joe's lawyer at the time, and he releases lawyer-client privilege, and Frank says that he was contacted by the FBI. He set up a meeting with Joe, and Joe didn't tell them anything about Joe Giudice. Now, here's the thing. When Teresa brought it up earlier in the show, Melissa said that her and her husband did not know Joe Giudice's business partner. But then Joe said that he did know him. So there's lies everywhere. Do I think that Joe and Melissa are the ones who turned Teresa in? No, I don't. But do I think that Joe Gorga knew something? Do I think he may have said something to the business partner? It's possible. I don't know. This was around the time him and Joe Giudice were not getting along. Andy tells Teresa her standing with Jacqueline is a joke, because she has been arguing and fussing and fighting with Jacqueline for the last 10 years. I have to agree with Andy, but at the same time, I don't know how professional that was. If she believes what she believes, that's her business. Joe screams across the room that Louie is a disaster. Just some idiot guy with videos that showed up. Then all of a sudden, Louie seems to be threatening Joe. Joe starts screaming, "Are you threatening me?" Listen, Louie was saying all kinds of little low blows, little jabs, little threats under his breath. Teresa jumps up and told him that you've got stuff in your past. Do you want to talk about it? Melissa turns around on a dime. Okay, she is quick and fast. All of a sudden, she wants him to calm down, calm down. Listen, I don't know what Teresa knows about Joe in his past, but I have a feeling that this is something Bo Dietl can get to the bottom of, and they don't want it out. They talk about the whole rumor thing. It turns out that Louie says that he called Joe over and told him about the rumor, but before he says, I didn't tell him anything about more than one guy. But then Joe says that he told him about multiple guys, and Louie says that he didn't. I think that Louie is lying there too, because before the multiple guys was even brought up, the first thing out of your mouth was, I didn't tell him about other guys, just the one. You're a liar. So then they bring up the whole conversation where Gia allegedly said that Joe could do better. Teresa gets upset, so she calls Gia. Gia is at Coachella, living her best life. She gets on the phone and she says that she did not say that. She called him to beg him to put their differences to the side for her grandparents and her mother to just come to the wedding and walk her down the aisle. And that she never did say that he was better off without Melissa, or too good for Melissa, or whatever that they were accusing her of saying. And Teresa gets really upset. She is really emotional. Her feelings are completely hurt that her brother is calling her daughter a liar. Melissa, I mean, you could tell Teresa was really sad. She was crying about this. Melissa was smiling. She was here for it. You could look at Joe, like if you watched just their faces throughout this reunion, You could see the hurt and pain in Teresa's face, the hurt and pain in Joe's face, and Melissa was enjoying this. She was smiling a lot and laughing a lot. Teresa gets up and she runs off crying and she screams, and don't follow me, but Joe wasn't following her. Anyway, Andy goes back there and talks to her and lets her know that he's about to shut it down. You know, he tells her he's sorry for yelling at her, and he did owe her an apology. He says he's sorry for yelling at her, and, you know, Gia shut it down. She said that she never said it. To me, you know, Melissa makes this comment that Teresa ran off because she's embarrassed. You know, the thing is, though, Melissa, you should be embarrassed. Teresa should be embarrassed. Joe should be embarrassed. Louie should be embarrassed. And I was embarrassed on my couch. I really was. I said, why am I watching this? This is ridiculous. We have watched this for how many seasons now? Please let us free from this. Oh, somewhere in the episode, Frank tried to pull that crap about how, you know, things have never been this bad. You know, it's Louie's fault. And I just want to say, no. For those of us who have been watching this show from the first episode, things have been bad. They have been doing this same song and dance for season after season after season. You can't blame all of this on Louie. You cannot. So move on from there. Joe then tells Louie the best thing for him to do is to forget about him, and I'll forget about you. Louie said, goodbye. That was so perfect. Like, Joe, shut up. He is done with you. You know, then at some point, all of a sudden it's the end and Melissa wants to act like she's hurt by this and she wants to leave the door cracked and all this stuff. Girl, please, the door is closed. Let it go. Give yourself a break and give us one too. Anyway, peeps, I am off to vacation. I will see you guys when I get back. Get down in the comments and let me know what you think. And until next time, bye.